Hello, hello, yogis, and welcome to our restorative practice. Welcome to day 4 of our 30-day challenge. So maybe you're wondering why there's a restorative practice in the middle of the week, and our body can only recover at rest. It needs mindful and intentional rest, especially when we're working out, especially when we're toning, especially when we're growing muscle, when we're building muscle. We need this time to rest and recover. Now, beyond our actual physical self, we have our central nervous system, and we have our parasympathetic and our sympathetic nervous system. And our sympathetic nervous system is our fight or flight. That's when we are on high alert. It's where when our adrenaline is released, we have that fight or flight response. Many of us, because of the fast-paced modern day society, spend a lot of time in that sympathetic nervous system state. Now, our restorative practice, the number one intention is to shift us into our parasympathetic nervous system, which is our rest and digest and recovery nervous system. So when we shift into the parasympathetic, it's like the complete opposite of the sympathetic. So for example, when we are in fight or flight, our digestion actually slows, even stops, because the body wants to conserve as much energy as it can to fight or flight. Whereas when we're in our parasympathetic nervous system, our digestion comes back online, things start moving properly. So when we think about stress, we don't always think about our digestion. We might think about our eating habits and how when we're stressed, we might reach for sweet treats or whatever. But it's actually, even from a more physiological standpoint, stress is affecting our digestion. It's affecting our sleep. It's affecting our ability to get to sleep and the depth of sleep that we have. And those are just a couple things that our restorative practice really benefits. So just know that even though this isn't as physical of a practice, it is just as, if not more important than any other practice that we do. And let's say that you didn't like yesterday's Kundalini class and you really enjoy today. Know that you can do a restorative practice instead of a Kundalini class, or a Kundalini class instead of a restorative class throughout this whole 30-day. You do what feels right for you. I'm just here every day in the schedule the way that it is, giving you tools, offering you guidance, but ultimately you know your best. You know best what is best for you. So let's come in to our affirmation for today. So we're going to start in our easy seat, grounding down into the sitting bones and getting nice and tall. And just to center ourselves, let's press our palms together and tuck our chin to our chest. Our affirmation for today is, my commitment is unwavering and I am limitless. My commitment is unwavering and I am limitless. So let's tap into our breath and just breathe that affirmation through the body a few times. So as you inhale, my commitment is unwavering. And as you exhale, I am limitless. As you inhale, my commitment is unwavering. And as you exhale, I am limitless. You can repeat it out loud with me. Inhale, my commitment is unwavering. And as you exhale, I am limitless. We'll open today's practice with some gentle movement. Let's tuck the chin to the chest, letting the head hang heavy. Taking a moment at center, feeling into the neck. You may even want to take your hand on either side of the neck and just give it a gentle rub, a little bit of gentle self-massage. Take a couple deep breaths here. And then let's slowly, gently roll the right ear toward the right shoulder and roll the chin through center, left ear, left shoulder. And roll the chin through center, right ear, right shoulder. And roll the chin through center, left ear, left shoulder. Shifting from side to side. Bring the chin through center. Let's inhale, lift the nose toward the ceiling, and exhale, tuck the chin toward the chest. Moving slowly, mindfully, inhale, lift the nose toward the ceiling, and exhale, tuck the chin toward the chest. One more, inhale as you lift, and exhale as you tuck. Come back through center. Let's do some shoulder rolls. Inhale as you lift the shoulder up, and exhale as you roll them down the back. And inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. And inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. So every time we come to our mat for a restorative practice, you're always going to want to bring your blocks with you, or sorry, bring your props with you. So for today, we're going to need a bolster or a long, firm pillow. It can be a pillow off of your bed. It can be a pillow from your patio furniture. It can be a pillow from your couch. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. Then I have a couple blocks here. Now, instead of blocks, you could use smaller decorative pillows. You could use books. You could use shoe boxes. Anything that just brings the floor a little bit higher. You could even use extra blankets or folded up towel. Draw those ears down through center. And then you'll also want a blanket as well. So those are kind of the standard restorative props that you'll need. The bolster, the blocks, and the blanket, or some variation of that. Let's inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, and exhale, right hand down, left hand reaches. Lift your gaze, lengthen through that side body. Take a couple deep breaths here. And then inhale through center, exhale, left hand down, right hand reaches. Sink that right hip down, lift your gaze, lengthen. Inhale through center, exhale, let's twist to the right. Left hand to the outside edge of the right knee. The right hand comes behind you. Draw the right shoulder back. Gaze behind you. And then inhale through center. Exhale, right hand, left knee, left hand behind you. Gaze behind you. Draw that shoulder back. Come back through center. Let's bring the soles of the feet together and just take a moment to kind of flutter out those knees. Bringing some mobility into the hips. And let's bring the knees back together. Let's take our blanket, fold it up nice and small, and we're going to place it underneath our bolster, like so. And then we'll take our blocks or our folded up towels and we'll bring those beside us. Let's start with extending our legs out long. Inhale the arms up overhead and exhale, fold forward. So let's just take a moment here in this forward fold, lengthening out through the backside of the body, taking a couple deep breaths. As we come into these still postures, this is where our affirmation becomes really, really useful as a tool. Bring the body through center, soles of the feet come together, knees come out wide. Tuck the blocks in nice and close. Back your low back, your tailbone all the way to your bolster or your big blanket or your big pillow, and start to lay yourself down. Let your hands come down by your side. You can flip your palms, palm facing up. And you're looking for this pose in your body. So if it looks different than mine, that's okay. You decide how close the feet are to the upper body or how far away. You decide if your palms are palm facing up, palm facing down. Maybe it feels better to have your hands on your body. You decide how much of an incline or decline the bolster or the pillow beneath you has. And you decide how together or apart your knees are. And let's take a few rounds of balanced breath here. So you're going to take a deep inhale and count your inhale on the up count. Pause when you've taken as much air in as possible. And then same count down on your exhale. So you're evening or you're balancing out these inhales and exhales. Inhale, count it up. Exhale, count it down. Inhale, count it up. Exhale, count it down. Inhale, count it up. And exhale, count it down. Allowing yourself to release and settle in. Fully relax and let go. Let's take 5 more deep breaths here. Flip your palms, palm facing down. Slowly, gently press the upper body up. Use your hands to guide your knees back together. Let's take a moment and just kind of pedal out the legs. And if there's any other organic movement that your body's asking for, feel free to take that. And keeping your feet planted on the floor, we're going to take the bolster or the big pillow and bring it behind the low back. Take that blanket, place it off to the side. Now, if the bolster is too much, you can always use the blanket or you can use your blocks. But what we're doing is we're coming into a supported bridge pose. So lifting the hips up, finding that bolster right underneath the sacrum, walking the feet in toward the low back. Feet are hip width distance apart. You may want to shimmy your shoulder blades a little bit more underneath the chest. You can let your hands come down by your side and close down your eyes. Now, if you feel some tension through your low back here, see how it feels if you heel toe your feet wide and bring the knees together. Does that release the tension? You can also see how it feels to heel toe the feet toward one another and let the knees come wide. You can also stay at center and come back to your breath. Inhales and exhales through the nose. Take a few deep belly breaths here. Know that the Ujjayi breath and the balanced breath are always there for you, helping to draw your awareness back into your practice. And for the last few breaths, option to extend the legs straight up toward the ceiling, coming into a supported waterfall pose. You may want to feel into gently shifting the legs from side to side like a pendulum. You may want to point and flex the feet, or you may want to hang out at center in stillness. It is entirely up to you. Each option creates a slightly different experience. And let's bring the feet down onto the floor. Press the feet into the floor, lift the hips, slide the bolster out from underneath, and let's bring it over to the left-hand side of the body. As you bring that low back all the way down to the floor, take a moment and let it really center in. Let's draw both knees in toward the chest, wrapping the hands around the knees, gently rocking side to side. You may want to have a blanket underneath the low back. We're coming into our supine twist. So we'll guide both knees over to the left, finding that support. Let's cactus out the arms, opening up through the chest. Come back to your breath, having the intention to keep that right shoulder connected to the floor. Inhales and exhales through the nose. Sending the breath as deep into the belly as you can. This twist is very good for all of your internal organs and your digestive tract. Let's take a few more deep breaths here. Slowly, gently, let's bring the knees through center. Wrap the hands around the knees, gently rock right and left. And then grab that pillow, switch it to the opposite side. And guiding both knees over to the right, finding that twist on this side, cactusing out the arms, gazing over the left shoulder. Let's come back to the breath, sending the breath deep into the belly. My commitment is unwavering, and I am limitless. My commitment is unwavering, and I am limitless. Taking a couple deep breaths, imagining that you're sending that affirmation through the body with the breath. Let's take a few more deep breaths here. And start to bring those knees back through center. Let's wrap our hands around the knees, gently rock from side to side. Take your hands onto your knees and we'll do some circles, bringing the knees apart and together, apart and together, apart and together. Change direction, together and apart, together and apart, together and apart. Grab the backs of your legs. If you can, rock yourself up or push yourself up. And we are going to come into our frog pose. Frog pose. So grab your blanket or your towels and place it across your mat. And then take that bolster out in front of you. And you might even want the blocks on top or underneath the bolster, like so, or like so, bringing the bolster up off of the floor. Now we're going to come onto all fours and let our torso shift forward over the bolster as we open the knees up and find that bolster. I don't need the blocks. Bring the bolster down to support the upper body as the knees come wide. Feet can come a little bit wider. You can stack your hands on top of your bolster. Let your chest rest down. And this is a deep hip opener through the front hip flexors. We won't be here long. And this is kind of like our peak of class. This is definitely a sensation-filled pose. But it's very good for our hips, our low back, even our knees. Let's take 3 more deep breaths here, wherever you are. Hands come underneath your shoulders. First, let's bring the toes together. Press the upper body up, bring the knees together. And let's shift ourselves into our final resting pose. So you can leave the blanket for underneath the low back, and you can leave the bolster or the pillow for underneath the knees. As we shift back onto our backs, coming all the way down, you can let the hands come out wide, closing down the eyes, and allowing yourself to sink and settle into the floor, into the mat. Let's take a few deep breaths here. Let's come back to our affirmation. My commitment is unwavering, and I am limitless. Take a deep breath in. My commitment is unwavering. Full breath out, and I am limitless. Deep breath in and full breath out. A couple more deep breaths here. Let's take our right hand across to our left shoulder and our left hand across to our right shoulder. Let's take a moment to give ourselves a little squeeze, little love, little hug. Thanking ourselves for creating the time and space on our mats to slow down and shift into our parasympathetic nervous system, that rest and digest nervous system. Draw your knees back into your chest. Wrap your hands around your knees. Slowly, gently shift right and left. Grab the backs of the knees as you rock yourself up. Let's end today's class in an easy seat, grounding down into your sitting bones, pressing your palms together. Tuck your chin to your chest. Take a deep breath in and a full breath out. Acknowledging yourself for being here, for showing up, For completing day number 4 of 30 in our 30-day yoga challenge, focused on motivation, dedication, and commitment. Taking one more repetition of that affirmation, my commitment is unwavering and I am limitless. Yes, you are. Thank you for being here. The light, the love, the wisdom in me sees, honors, reflects, and encourages the light, the love, the wisdom in you. Namaste. Again, if you really enjoyed this class, and if at any time throughout this 30-day program, this 30-day challenge, you want to come back and substitute a restorative practice for maybe a more active practice, know that that's absolutely okay. That goes with any of the classes. If you want to go back to that introduction video, feel free to go back to that. It's more about committing to the consistency of creating the time and the space in your schedule to show up for yourself than it is about doing exactly the right practice, right? You can trust I will be here for the full 30 days with the schedule as it is, but I want to empower you to choose what's right for you, to do what's right for you. The schedule is the way that it is, and I love it the way that it is. For me, it's very whole-bodied, but I've been practicing consistently for 5 years. So be gentle with yourself, be compassionate toward yourself, and do what feels right for you. I hope to see you again tomorrow for day 5 for our most physical practice, our strength practice. Bring your hand weights. Know that they're always optional, and the practice is going to benefit you just as much if you don't do it with hand weights at all. Just look at it as another Vinyasa practice. I hope to see you tomorrow, and until we meet again, may your light be your guide. I will see you soon.